Good afternoon, and thank you for making it here just after lunch. I know sometimes the time after lunch is not the best time to be energized and listen and stay focused, so we are going to try to make the best out of it. So maybe just before we jump into an interesting discussion, let's start with a small video. So just in case you have not understood everything that was on that video, I will explain it in a second. But only just before, I would like each one of you in a panel to introduce yourself very briefly. So Dr. Teinturier, do you want to start?
Does this work?
Okay. So I am Cécile Teinturier, and I am a pediatric endocrinologist working in Paris in Hospital Bicêtre.
Hello, my name is Imogen Marouillat. I'm head of solution delivery in our global digital health team. And my team lead the design, the development, and launch of all our digital health solutions supporting patients, caregivers, and healthcare professionals.
Fulvio Michelis in the global digital health team, and I'm the product owner of the digital ecosystem around the drug.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome. So today what we are going to look at is how at Merck and using AI, we are able to reshape the way we treat patients in the field of endocrinology, children that has growth hormone deficiencies. And at Merck, we have a love for science and a passion for technology. Merck is a life science company. We are dealing with electronics, with the life science, and with healthcare, which is probably the best combination and convergence of what you need to develop great technology and AI products for customers and for patients. As you can see, the panel here is a mixed panel of digital health experts and of healthcare professionals. And let me explain to you what we are going to talk about. At Merck, we saw that by treating growth hormone deficiencies, you are going through a lot of different pain points. So children are treated for many, many years. They have to take daily injections. And obviously, as a caregiver, as parents, and as a patient, it creates a lot of burden. Children have sometimes needle phobia. You don't remember every day that you have to take your injection. You forget. You take too much. You take not enough. And we saw that as an opportunity to use technology and really enhance patient experience and outcome. So we have developed an ecosystem that is composed of a drug delivery device called EasyPod, of a platform for healthcare professionals, and of a mobile app for patients and their caregivers. And with no ado, I would like to ask you, Dr. Teinturier, how are you using this platform on your daily practice?
Yes. So to show you how EasyPod can help the families and healthcare professionals during the course of growth hormone therapy, let's talk about Lucy's story. Lucy is a little girl, age 4. She was not growing well, and she has been diagnosed with growth hormone deficiency. So she must take a growth hormone treatment in order to promote a growth and attain a normal final height. EasyPod, like you can see here, EasyPod is the only auto-injector in a growth hormone therapy. That means that it inserts the needle and injects automatically. All the settings are preset by the doctors, and here you can see, you can see that we can set the dose, of course, the depth of injection, the speed of injection, the size of the needles, for example. During the course of growth hormone therapy, there are 3 important steps. First is the initiation of therapy, where we have to teach the parents how to give the injection to their child. Second, the child empowerment, when the child wants to do his injection by himself. And for these 2 steps, EasyPod is very reassuring for the child and the parents because it is an auto-injector and because all the settings are already preset. And lastly, we have to face with adolescents, where we often face with a decline in adherence. So Lucy starts growth hormone therapy, and on the first visit, we can look at the injection calendar with the parents and to see if all the injections have been done. And here it's okay because all the days are green, and the injecting dose that you can see here, so the injected dose is what we have prescribed. Then Lucy grows, and at the age of 8 years, she wanted to do the injection by herself. So we trained her, but at the next visit, we saw that each dot on the calendar means that the injection was made in several stages. Here is in two stages. This is because EasyPod has a special safety feature to avoid injecting outside the skin. So if you move during the injection, the EasyPod does not touch the skin all around its circumference, and it stops the injection. And that was, and for Lucy, that was when she tried to inject on the back of her arms, because, you know, doing like that, sometimes you move and it's difficult for a little child. So this allows us to say to Lucy to avoid the arms, and if she wants to inject in the arm, so she must ask help from her parents. So time passes and Lucy grows well, and she can follow the evolution of her growth on the growth chart on the app. And you can see here how she can see her growth chart and the evolution of her growth. Then Lucy becomes an adolescent, a teenager, and we notice that she is not growing as well as before. And parents wonder if the treatments may be no longer effective. But look at this calendar. Each day in pink is a day where the injection was not done. So adherence has become poor. This device is not for policing. Parents and child, they authorize the transmission and collection of data. They know that I am following the regularity of injection, and they agree with that. In fact, most of the parents, when they choose this device, they choose it partly for this reason. And so, seeing the lack of adherence, it allows us to open the door for dialogue with Lucy. What is the problem? How can we help? And we can, for example, set SMS alerts on her phone in order to remind that it's time for injection. Or, for example, we could ask for help her parents. So this is how EasyPod, this is how EasyPod can help the parents, the child, and the healthcare practitioner during the real life of a growth hormone therapy.
This is very interesting. Thank you, Dr. Teinturier. It's amazing to see how a simple device is really making a difference in the life of a doctor and of patients. And why we are talking here about a medical device? We are at an AI conference. To have good AI, it has been said this morning in different sessions, to have good AI, you need good data. To have reliable AI, you need to have reliable data. And this is really what this EasyPod, or this drug delivery device, has been able to generate, is really to share data in real world data, in real time, and generate this quantity of data. And I would like to know, Imogen, as our innovation expert, if you can share a bit more about this data, what kind of data is generated, for what purpose, and what can we really do with it?
Absolutely. So as we heard from Dr. Teinturier, we have multiple data points collected through our medical devices and through our applications and the web platform. So the time of the injection, the duration, the depth of the needle, lots of different data points there generated. And we have a primary use of that data, which is this shared visualization between the patient, the family, and the physician, who all have a common understanding of how the patient is getting on with their treatment. In addition to that, we can use the data we can use that data to personalize the content experience in the mobile application. We can equip local training teams to intervene when we see suboptimal real-world use of the devices. And it equips also the nurses to have a really open conversation with families when we see some strange behaviors in the data and the visualization there. But there's not just one Lucy in the world, there are thousands of Lucy, and this means that over the almost 20 years that we have had EasyPod in the market, we have generated 30 million data points. And to remind you, here we are talking about a rare disease, so 30 million is really quite an achievement. Of course, generating so much data does not happen by magic. At Merck, we have a dedicated team of 25 colleagues who manage all of the design, the development, the deployment of these solutions, and the monitoring in the market. And we really transform these solutions into something that people can hold, and we invest heavily in continuing our innovation and our evidence demonstration. So with consent, of course, we stock all of this data, these million bits of data. We make sure it's structured in a consistent manner, and then we can make it available to generate insights to further progress our understanding of disease and how we might deliver care. Including, we make it available to clinics and to hospitals to conduct clinical studies.
Thank you, Imogen. I mean, you mentioned here clinical studies, and what's interesting with this ecosystem is that it's an ecosystem that is live, right? We are not talking here about a future projection or something that may one day become truth. It's something that is already operating in the field and helping a lot of patients, but it's also supporting the scientific community. And Dr. Teinturier, I would like to know, beyond using the data on your daily practice with patients and healthcare professionals, I understand you are using this data in clinical studies. Can you share more about that?
Yes. Real data on growth hormone adherence and its correlation with growth and final height are very important. And several studies have already been done with the EasyPod data. Their particular feature is that they rely on reliable data, not only on self-reported data that may be biased. So, and for example, recently there have been the results from the SCOPE study have been published, and the SCOPE study was done on the data of the EasyPod, and they show that good results in terms of growth can be achieved if the adherence rate is more than 85%. And this is very important to know because we can encourage our patients to achieve this goal of 85% adherence in order to have a good growth, and we must look for the first signs in a decline in adherence in order to react.
So thank you. So I understand that not only you are using the data for your patients, for yourself, Dr. Teinturier, but also to progress science and in clinical studies. Now, having said that, and as said, for qualitative AI, we need qualitative data. Now that we have qualitative data, I would like to turn to Fulvio, that is our product owner and AI expert, and understand how are you planning to use AI and to implement AI into that ecosystem to further improve the benefits of the system.
Thank you. What I really want to focus is this secondary use of data and double down on how we can learn things so that we can provide additional insights for both the HCPs and the healthcare professionals and the patients. In particular, we can model the behavior and the outcome of our patients so that we provide additional information to the HCPs for their decision making. And also, knowing a lot about our patients, we can support them in a very personalized way. Let me go into the details. So, as Imogen was saying, we have a ton of data. The leaders and the people that came before me really worked a lot on launching this program almost 20 years ago, in 2008, roughly the same time where the first iPhone came out. So really ahead of any possible competition and really thinking around connected medical device at the time. And in this time, we managed to collect 30 million data points on injection over more than 20,000 patients in 40 countries. So you can understand that we are in the unique position to know a ton about the experience of thousands of patients and being able to detect soft signals before they become a problem in adherence. Adherence is key for the outcome of the treatment. So we want to act before we see any decrease in adherence. And by generating that insight, we are also in the unique position to then inform directly the HCP on the platform Grows and Connect and deliver content to our patients through Grows and Body, the application that is patient-facing. So I said model the patient. One of the things we know we can do, and we published it as well on peer-reviewed papers, is that we can predict the outcome. With just 6 months of data, we can know 4 years in advance what the outcome of that treatment is going to be. And we can provide that knowledge to the healthcare professionals for, one, taking more informed decisions, but also, secondly, to have a more informed discussion with the patients and their families to agree on what the possible outcome is and manage the expectations around the treatment and the burden that is related to it. And I was mentioning soft signals. When I joined the team, one of the things they told me, one of the key aspects of non-adherence is boys versus girl. We demonstrated it's absolutely not true. One of the key things is really being consistent, and we have now clear indicators of that, what consistency means, both in terms of routine, but also time of injection. And knowing those thresholds, we can easily point out on the screen there's something going wrong with disease before the adherence drops. On Thursdays, look at the time of injection, that is the right-hand side graph. It's variating a lot. So directly the healthcare professionals can have a more informed discussion with the patient and drilling down on the problem at hand. And we can do it for other markers of future non-adherence as well. And what's in for the patient? Well, if we have all this insight and we have an app that is patient-facing, we can use all those insights to trigger the right type of support for the right patient at the right time. And here we use a blend of analytical AI to detect those soft signals at the right time and close the loop with generative AI to personalize, hyper-personalize if you want, and also adapt the tone of voice to specifically those patients, those group of patients, and support them in a very concrete and personalized way.
Thank you, Fulvio. This is impressive. You know, what I like very much in that is you are using AI or innovation, but really based on real feedback from the field. You are listening to patients, you are listening to healthcare professionals. And Dr. Teinturier, I'm curious to understand, what do you think about those innovations that you are going to see in the short term and that you will benefit from?
I think it's very promising. Personalized medicine is the future. And the prediction of final height, depending on adherence rate, is very important to show to the teenager when the adherence decline in order to remotivate. And I like the growth charts that you show depending on the adherence rate, because it's visual tools and we can show that to the adolescents and he can visualize where he's going depending on his adherence rate. So it's very promising. And for the last point, regarding the weak signals preceding a decline in adherence, if we can be alerted by that, then we can discuss with the teenager in order to prevent this before it occurs and before it alters its growth.
Thank you. Thank you. So great to see that the effort you're putting, Fulvio, on that system are going to benefit the healthcare professional community and the patients. But maybe before we conclude and open the floor for questions, just a word. I mean, I think what we are sharing today is an example that is, live. That system is generating data for years, as you heard, and we were looking on, what to do with this data. And when we launched this device first time 20 years ago, nobody knew what to do about data, right? The iPhone was launched at that time. So I think that, at Merck, we really put a lot of effort now in driving innovation, but innovation that is meaningful and impactful for patients and healthcare professionals, and not using AI just as a buzzword, but really about looking at how to make an impact. And as you see, the data is generated every day. Every day children are taking injections and sharing data. The data is standardized so that we can use it right away. That standardizing data and cleaning the data is a big effort for a lot of people, so we are trying to get that right from the beginning. We have a pipeline. We know that tomorrow and the day after, new data is going to continue to flow. And so on and so forth, and all coming real world. There is also an important aspect of training the community and the employees at Merck to build the right systems, but also our customers, make sure they understand what are those capabilities and what they can do with that. So to summarize it, this ecosystem is ready to be used by AI and to deliver best of care. So if there is one message that comes out of that is, we're really committed to continue to use AI innovation to make an impact on patients. 30 million data points is what we had this morning. We probably had many more by now. And we'll continue to look at, real use cases where we can use AI to make an impact and to improve both the experience and the outcome for patients that are going through chronic diseases. Thank you very much.